So the other day, I was on the Audio Expert Forum and I had achieved 1,000 posts. Now for some of you keyboard warriors, that might not seem like that much. But for someone like me who gets the band hammer repeatedly in forums, it's a huge milestone. Now this is Ethan Weiner's forum, and so you would expect that I learned a lot about acoustics, and I did. I have learned a lot about acoustic treatment, where to put it, a little bit about audio and speaker design. But one of the most important things I learned was how to treat people. Before I get into all the various fun things I learned from 1,000 posts, I first want to give you a little backstory. Hey guys, I'm Michael Carrillo, aka Hexspa, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, go ahead and click subscribe. That would help me a lot. I'm trying to build an audience so I can help people and get my music into the ears that want to hear it. If you're into acoustic treatment, go ahead and check the Acoustic Treatment Chronicles playlist for more content like this. So I want to first tell you how I got into acoustic treatment. Basically, ever since I was young, I thought it was really cool. I didn't know anything about it, but one of my first jobs, I was working at Whole Foods as a produce receiver, and I heard that egg crates would be great acoustic treatment. So, you know, I wasn't in grocery, but I had apple spacers. So man, I saved stacks and stacks of these apple spacers. They're purple, they had ripples and stuff. They look like foam. And me and my friend Itis, we put these things all up in our rehearsal space. Now we had a giant rehearsal space. I don't know how many cubic feet it was, but it might have been a 10,000 cubic foot room. But I'm telling you, man, it's a sad truth that we put these things up and everything sounded worse. And I was very disheartened because I was curious about it, but this was around 2001, so the internet was not quite as big as it is today. There was no Reddit, there was no YouTube. So if you wanted to find something out, you pretty much had to read a book or know some people. There was always the guys at Guitar Center, but as we know, those people, you know, they might have their specialty, but they don't know it all. So fast forward to about 2010, you know, I was recently out of the military. I had gotten out of a school situation, and I really wanted to learn about acoustic treatment still. So I went online, I was reading Gear Sluts, and you know, these people on these forums, there's a huge gradient of people either very knowledgeable or not very knowledgeable, but sometimes the people who are not very knowledgeable talk louder than the people who are very knowledgeable. So when you're new, that's very confusing. And a side note, a lot of people wonder, should I go to school for music? And that's probably one of the biggest reasons to do it is you know who's a student, you know who's a teacher. That teacher's already a pre-vetted authority, and that saves you from the hassle of figuring out who's actually the one you should be listening to. Luckily, I managed to find Ethan. Ethan Weiner, if you don't know, is what I would consider to be the grandfather of small room acoustics. Now, I guess he's had a studio back in the day, was a professional guitarist. He does a lot of stuff, but if it wasn't for him and his free resources, I would have never had the acoustic treatment I have in my room or gotten the results I have. And he made a really good point. He said if you could have audio equipment that's flat from 0 hertz to gigahertz and gigahertz, but if you have peaks and nulls in your room that are 30 decibels, all that great gear is going to be lost in your room. Your room is like a giant filter. You know, you have your speakers and then you have your room and then it gets to your ears. So I was like, man, that makes sense. You know, let me get my room flattened out. That way, whenever I invest in this way more expensive stuff, I'll be able to appreciate it more. So that's what I did. So that was 2010. We're in 2017 now. So 7 years later, I've treated 4 of my own rooms and helped a lot of people on his forum. So what did I learn on this forum in my 1,000 posts? Well, I learned that in the beginning especially, you're just not going to know a lot of stuff. And even the further you go, you're still not going to know a lot of things. I was just getting my butt kicked over on Reddit because, you know, there's little details I didn't know about. But one thing that I was not afraid to do was jump in and get involved in the discussion. So if you can have that foresight to know that you're going to say something which you don't always need to qualify. Well, I'm just a newbie so I don't know if I should say this. No, man, just don't even say that. Just say what you think. And if someone bitch slaps you for how dumb what you just said was, you should be happy. And then you could do a little research, validate their claim, and then you effectively just learn something. So the biggest thing I learned from this forum is just jump right in and do not be afraid to be corrected. And don't think that just because you write something on the internet, it has to be 100% true. You know, if you need to qualify your statement, all right, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but this is what I think, say that. But definitely don't just say something and then believe it till the end of time. Be open to correction. One reason that I got to 1,000 posts, and I'm like, I have way more posts than anybody on the forum. I think even 3 times more than Ethan has. And that's because I posted my work. So whenever I did a new room or I had a question, I actually treated the room, I measured it, and I put up my results for everybody to see, to critique, and to get feedback. And also to help keep track of my own progress, because when you get involved in a project, it's helpful to document it. And I mean, that's the original meaning of a blog, is a web blog. And so a vlog, even just a forum log, a flog, is going to help you keep track of where you are. And people can always jump right in and be like, wait, right here, you might want to make this correction, or don't forget to do this. So if you're a part of a forum, it really helps that you're active in your own life doing things. If you're on a beat making forum, it's awesome if you're actually making beats. It's not really helpful to be part of a forum if all you're doing is just being theoretical about everything. Well, you know, I read in a book. No. If you don't have a room that you're treating, or you're not like an acoustic expert, or you have substantial experience, why are you even there? I mean, you might be there for the lulz and the popcorn, but contribute, you know, do stuff on your own. I guess have a life as much as possible and add that into the forum. The third thing that I learned, I would say, is help out the newbies. Don't leave someone on 0 posts, you know? Nothing sucks more than to go to a forum desperately needing some advice and you're just completely ignored while some other random thread is getting like thousands and thousands of views. If you see that a thread has no responses, if it's anywhere in your wheelhouse, I would say leave a comment in that thread. There's a lot of posts on the Auto Expert forum that I just don't touch because I don't know anything about. People come in talking about hi-fi audio equipment. I don't know anything about audio equipment, particularly about hi-fi, so I just leave that for someone else. You know, occasionally I might say, hey man, you know, I noticed no one's posted. You can always tag someone who knows, but you don't want people to come to a forum and be like, man, it's a ghost town, or these people are really rude or whatever, okay? So if you're on a forum, be sure to let people know that you see that they're posting. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys can remember what it feels like to be a noob somewhere. It kind of sucks. You don't know anybody, you don't maybe really know that much stuff, but you're the one that needs the most help. So yeah, if you remember that, go ahead and let me know. Another thing that I learned is you need to be able to tell people if you disagree. But you know, on more public forums like Reddit or YouTube, people can be really rude. And on a more closed or smaller forum, that rudeness is just magnified. And it really sets the tone for the whole place. I mean, just because there's a couple mean people on YouTube isn't going to stop anyone from coming to YouTube. I mean, you have to scroll down to see the comments. It's not a forum. There's comments and it has forum qualities, but YouTube is not a forum. A forum, though, is meant for discussion. So I don't believe in being completely positive all the time if you don't agree with someone. But at the same time, if you don't agree with someone, you don't need to go for personal attacks. I think it's a logical fallacy. It's the ad hominem fallacy that if I start calling you names, I automatically lost the argument. There's really nothing more that can be said. So if you're in a forum, if someone's about to do something totally stupid and waste their money, make sure you let them know. But at the same time, don't call them stupid or anything, because if it doesn't get you banned, it's gonna make people shut down on you, or the whole thing is just gonna disintegrate into petty arguments. It's funny because when you go on forums or comments anywhere on the internet, it's like the top 3 or 4 comments are usually on topic. Then someone makes a smart ass comment, and then everything after that is like, oh man, you know, fuck you, or you know, I'm not even gonna get mad at you, bro, I'm just gonna ignore you. It's like, you know, keep it on topic, disagree, but disagree respectfully. With that being said, if someone's rude to you, don't be surprised. There's the old advice that if someone makes you angry, wait 24 hours. I would say that's really helpful in forums. Also, don't post on forums when you're drunk. It doesn't help. It hasn't helped me. So, you know, these are people on the other side of the forum. So it's like they say in the Reaper forum that everybody, their tagline is a human with feelings. And I feel like that's really important. So when people are rude to you, this is like the opposite of the last point, is take time to consider what's being said. Maybe there's some good criticism in there. Or maybe these people are just starting to see you come up a little bit. I don't want to call anyone out, but yeah, it seems that every time I come up in an environment, I get more resistance from people. And sometimes it's completely ridiculous what they say. So with forums, be nice to people, but don't expect people to be nice to you. People have their own issues, so keep that in mind. That being said, even though there's going to be people who are rude to you, there's going to be a lot of people who appreciate what you have to say, even if they never post. There's a lot of lurkers on forums and wherever, and a lot of people come to these forums to get information, and you might have helped a lot more people than you think. I mean, I'm not complaining, but I could probably count on one hand how many times someone has said thank you to me in the Audio Expert forum. But of course I appreciate that a lot. But you got to think, any work that I've done, if it's good work and it checks out, then it's valuable to people. And the great thing about the internet is stuff tends to stick around for a while. So any work that I do can help any number of people. So don't expect to be lauded for your participation, and appreciate anytime someone says, oh, thank you for this, because actually for every thank you, you might have helped like 5, 10 or more people. So appreciate the appreciation. This is a big one. Mods always win. Mods always win. It might not be fair, but a lot of times, mods to me are like bartenders. I don't get along with bartenders, and I have sometimes a difficult time getting along with mods, especially if they're unfair. Now, I've done some things on the forum which I've been corrected for, and because I appreciate the place so much, I really tried to consider what was being said. So I'm not saying Ethan's not a good mod. He's been phenomenal. But there's been other forums I've been a part of where the mod he just comes at you hard, and he's being, I mean, as rude as possible without maybe actually breaking any rules. And you call him out on it and give him a little taste of his own medicine, and boom, ban hammer. Or sometimes you don't even break any rules. The mods don't even let themselves be known. You upset another forum member just a little bit, and boom, you're gone. Or your post is deleted, and it's like, it can be a really unfair scenario. So when you go into a forum, just remember that if you're gonna go to battle with the mods, you got more to lose than they do, maybe, if you want to stick around. So even if you're being completely rational and saying things that make sense, these mods are the people who get to influence what kind of tone happens on a forum. So if you notice that there's not a lot of intellectual discussion, well, then maybe there won't be, especially if you're contrary to whatever's taking place there. So keep that in mind, guys. Mods always win. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any ugly mod stories. So basically, to wrap it all up, even if I was to have learned 1,000 things from my 1,000 posts, that's still kind of a failure, right? Because for every post, there might be 2 to 3 responses, and there might have been a lot of people who I replied to that I could have learned a lot from. So really, for every post, I should have learned 2 to 3 things. Have I learned 1,000 things? Probably not, but that means that for the next 1,000 posts, I need to stop thinking I know I need to pay more attention to what's going on and really try to get more out of it. You know, a forum is not just a place to go to speak your mind, but it's also a place to listen, and it's usually a great source of free information. So if you're posting on forums, make sure you're there to learn. Do not start thinking that you know, because the second that you say you know, you already start to cut yourself off from learning new stuff, okay? I hope that was helpful, guys. If you can relate to any of this stuff, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Remember to check out the Acoustic Treatment Chronicles playlist for more stuff like this, and subscribe so I can build a giant empire of well-educated audio fans who would love to hear my music. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.